Welcome to the Learning Lab. My name is Roman Garcia. This is Volume 9. Today what we're going to be discussing is a concept that once you understand it, it will help you guide your decision making when it comes to exercise. And hopefully by understanding this idea, when you go into a gym or you participate in an athletic endeavor, you'll be able to better control or make better educated decisions about what kind of physical activities you allow your body to be exposed to. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you to a term that's used in physics, but it has applications in biology. It's a little bit complex, but I'm going to try and simplify it as much as possible. Alrighty? So once you understand this concept, you'll be able to apply it in your therapy or in your exercise lives. The word that I want to introduce you to today is entropy. Now, entropy in a nutshell is basically this. Entropy is another word that means disorder. So let me explain to you and what entropy is. So what I did is I just created this this format so you can follow easier. Now, what I want to discuss today is, like I said before, is the word entropy, but how entropy applies in the mechanical domain. Now, entropy in a simplified version is basically this. Entropy is that state of a system. In this case, we're discussing our bodies. So, is that state of a system or body where life loses its potential for regeneration against the effects of time and trauma. So, in essence, what this statement means is that entropy represents disorder. So, disorder comes about when you allow your body to be exposed in the mechanical realm or in the exercise domain, when you allow your body to be exposed to high level of physical stresses. Now, what that does is it creates disorder in your body, in your joints, in your muscles, in your organs, really in your whole body. Now what I did here, this is the spectrum, the entropy spectrum. And what I did is I broke it down into 3 different levels along the spectrum. This is low entropy or low entropy order, and then this is high entropy. Now, low entropy is that state that an individual will have when they do not expose their bodies to any kind of mechanical load. Now, to exist along this spectrum on either end is not good for different biological reasons. Now, when you are an individual that does not exercise, you basically do not allow your body to be exposed to any mechanical loads. That means you do not allow your body to be exposed to any kind of entropy. Now, the body needs mechanical loads in order for it to stay healthy. That's why exercise is healthy, because all exercise is, deep down, is really just a mechanical energy that you expose your body to. Now, when you're an individual that doesn't allow your body to be exposed to any kind of exercise stresses, you are residing on this end of the entropy spectrum. So you allow your body to be exposed to cumulative and single traumatic events that have occurred in the past. Now, the middle of this spectral line is what I call the net entropic level. This is where you want to be ideally when it comes to exercise and mechanical loads. This basically represents the moderate level of exercise, and later I'm going to show you why or how this level right here, how it manifests itself on the body. Now, most people exist on either end of this entropy spectrum. They either do not exercise or they exercise excessively. When you're on this end of the spectrum, the entropy spectrum, you are basically exposing your body to the energy, to the exercise paradox. Now, all the exercise paradox means is that the more extreme your exercise methods, the faster you age, the faster your aging rate. Now, at this end of the spectrum is where most individuals who are professional athletes, this is where they exist. This spectrum is normally what you would see in professional athletes. A professional athlete is always operating on this end of the energy or the entropy spectrum. They expose their bodies to high level of stress. Now, a lot of folks out there in the public domain also participate on this end of the spectrum without knowing that they're causing damage to their whole systems, to their joints, and to their muscles, and maybe even to their organs. Now, like I said, pro athletes usually reside on this end of the spectrum. Another exercise group that exists on this end of the spectrum are marathon runners or triathletes. These are individuals that expose their bodies to high level of physical stresses. These physical stresses produce basically energy or in the form of heat in their joints. And later on, I'm going to show you how that heat manifests itself during a simple exercise regimen. Now, what we're going to do now is actually we're going to turn the page and I'm going to just elaborate a little bit more. Now, entropy, all entropy is a concept. Alrighty? It's a concept to direct your activities and will toward healthy exposure to physical activities. Once you start relating to your exercise as high entropy or low entropy, you'll have a better grasp of what is healthy for your body when you are participating in exercise. And later again, I'm going to show you how that heat is manifested in the joints. Now you may ask, what does entropy, what does it do? How does it affect you biologically? How does it affect your body? And it's very simple. Now, how it affects you biologically is the more entropy you expose your body to, the greater disorder you expose your body to. Now, this is in a nutshell, this is basically how it goes. The higher your physical activities, the deeper down you stress your body biologically. When you are operating at a moderate physical activity with net entropic levels to your bodies which are healthy, the heat that you are generating from the exercise is you're directing it at a very superficial level biologically. You're basically stimulating the system as a whole, cardiovascularly, muscularly, skeletally, and you're stimulating it at the tissue level. That's why when you exercise, you start noticing your muscles becoming toner, which is healthy. But the higher your entropy level with your exercise, the more heat you're generating, the deeper that energy flows biologically, deeper down into your being. So the higher your entropy, then you start affecting the macromolecules. These are the molecules that make up the protein structures that make up your body. So higher entropy, you keep moving down on the biological scale. You keep descending. You keep creating disorder, traveling deeper down biologically into your body. You're basically, the energy, the mechanical energy keeps moving straight down until eventually it starts affecting the actual electrons that make up your atoms, which make up the micromolecules, which together make up your macromolecules. So the higher your entropy level with your exercise, the deeper disorder you are creating within your body. And that is why you see with professional athletes or individuals who expose their bodies to high mechanical load, you start seeing quite a bit of joint breakdown. The muscles start losing their tonicity, and the individual just start looking physiologically as if they have a greater age than what chronologically their age really is. So the trick to the benefits of understanding what entropy is to be able to understand that anytime that you exercise, if you are exercising at very high levels, you're pounding, you're sweating, you're exhausting yourself, the deeper the disorder goes down into the structures that make up who you are, that make up your muscles, that make up your joints. Now, the reason that the body is susceptible to these high entropy levels is very simple, is that the body is both structure and form. Structure and form. These are concepts. Now, when we think of the body, we think in terms of the body being hard, of being made up of tissues that are consistent throughout a person's life. But I would tell you that that is the incorrect way of looking at the body. The body is just more than a solid structure. It is actually form. And what I mean by form is that the body adapts. It adapts to mechanical loads, which is why if you expose your bodies to high entropic levels of stresses, you're literally changing the structure of the joint of your body itself. Your body adapts to the mechanical load. So that's why it is important when you think of your body, don't think of it just as a hard structure. Think of also as it being existing in a form level, at a form level, where it's able to adapt to the mechanical loads and actually change the shape of it. The body changes as we move along the chronological time domain. So it's important that when you think of your body, think of it as being both a structure and as a form. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how exercises produces heat inside the tissues. So if you allow me, let's go right over here and I'm going to show you now with my assistant, Anna. Now, hopefully you can get us both on the picture here. Now, this is what we're going to do. Anna is just going to perform a simple lateral raise and a bicep curl. And I'm going to show you the heat that is produced from the exercise itself. Literally what I am showing you is entropy manifesting itself inside the tissue. Now, obviously, I'm not going to have Anna perform high entropic activity. This is going to be a low entropic activity. But remember, entropy, all it means, the concept, all it means is heat production from a stimulus, of which exercise is. So when you start thinking of exercise, you start thinking of exercise as a mechanical energy, which you are introducing into your body. And I'm going to allow you to see that mechanical energy manifesting itself in Anna's body while she's doing these simple maneuvers. Now, Anna's just going to do, like I said, she's going to do a lateral raise and she's going to do a bicep curl. Alrighty? She has, I believe it's 2.5 pounds. Now, what Anna's going to do is, first what she's going to do, and hopefully you can get a view of this. Can you get it, Carlos? Now, Anna's going to do a lateral raise, just like that. She's going to do 10 repetitions. Now, observe the red. Now, she's going to do 10 repetitions. 10 repeticiones. And she's going to 10 and she's going to stop. Alrighty? Now, what she's going to do now is a bicep curl. Observe the red forming. Ten repetitions and stop. Now do another lateral raise. She's gonna again. We're just waiting for the heat, the entropy to form inside the tissues. Now do a bicep curl. Again. Okay, that she's done 2 sets thus far. Alrighty, now do a lateral raise again. Okay, just keep doing it, 10 repetitions. Now there's obviously what we're waiting for is the red to start forming inside the deltoid muscle, the anterior deltoid. You can see that nothing has formed thus yet. Nothing has formed. Again, now do a lateral raise again. Oh, she's doing a curl, which is fine. Nothing has formed yet. Okay, stop. Alrighty. Okay. Alrighty. Now do a lateral raise again. Now her form is not perfect. She's using pendulum-like momentum to generate these motions. So her muscles are not contracting as somebody who's using proper form. And you can see that there is no entropic formation here in the tissues, because she's swinging. She's not stimulating the muscles at all. You can see there's no difference. She's performed these activities and she's generated absolutely no heat. So again, do a bicep curl. Again, no entropic activity yet. Nothing. Are you getting tired? You start seeing some red formation there. That's the heat generating. Anna had to do a lot because her form was not perfect. She was using a lot of swing and she was using a lot of momentum. So in her case, since her technique is poor, we would have generated, but you can start seeing the heat. This is the unevolved. Obviously, you can see there's no red there. You can start seeing the red forming here. You can start seeing it here. This is heat that's being generated. This is entropy that's being generated in the tissue. As she was performing these exercises, her muscles obviously were contracting. There was chemical reactions occurring. There was shearing from the joint surfaces. There was heat that was being generated inside the shoulder. This is entropy forming from the mechanical load. Now, if she were to be using excessive stress or excessive exercises, if she would be in an extreme workout, this heat generation would expand. It would be a lot redder. And the worst thing is that since the more entropy she exposes, or the individual exposes their body to, the deeper that energy travels or flows into the biological levels, so affecting the actual atoms, the electrons, the micro, the macro molecules, creating disorder. And the problem is that after you stop the exercise, that disorder stays inside the tissues for days, months, years, even after the activities. So these high entropic physical activities will actually create disorder at the molecular level, creating changes. The form, the structure of the body starts to change. The structure starts to change. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you. You can see this Latin response of the entropy forming. This is after the exercises. This is heat that's encapsulated itself inside the tissues. You can see it. That's the right one. She didn't do anything. You can see the entropic heat generation, which is when you're operating at that mid-net tropic physical domain, exercise domain. This is actually healthy because you're stimulating at the tissue level. You're introducing energy into the actual molecules that make the tissues, that make the muscles, that make the joints. The body adapts to it, but it adapts in a positive way. So now what I want to do is I want to show you the difference here between, if you come right over here, I'm going to show you an example of a tissue that has a structure that has changed. I'm going to show you a structure versus a form. This is a hip that's obviously in a degenerative state. The structure has changed because it has gone from a normal form to an abnormal structure. The right hip, which is this one right here, has maintained its normal form. It's adapted well to his environment. But the left one, it's actually gone from form to abnormal structure because it has adapted to abnormal high levels or a trauma to the actual tissues themselves. So it's gone from a normal form to an abnormal structure. Again, this is the takeaway from this video. When you are exercising, always exercise with that entropic concept always at the forefront of your mind, because you do not want to expose your bodies to these high professional level high stresses, because your body will adapt to it. Just remember, exercise is nothing more than just a mechanical energy, and if you exercise too aggressively, you generate too much heat. So when you go into a gym, when you go out running, just remember, control the mechanical energy that you allow your body to be exposed to. In later series, later volumes, we're going to start going into what exercise represent high entropic or low entropic levels. So anybody that watches this video, if you have any comments on this video, feel free to write a comment on the video. And until next time, thank you very much for watching.